How's it going, everybody? I am Donuts, and this is, of course, a Black Lives Matter, all cops are bastards, and trans rights supporting channel. If you're not supporting that shit, get the fuck off this channel. We are watching X2, X-Men United. So, I didn't even know this had a subtitle until just now, so X-Men United makes me think that we're going to actually get the X-Men United. I mean, it's literal right there. But last movie, we only had a couple of them. We pretty much just had, like, 3 people on the entire, what could be considered X-Men. I don't know if the people in the school could also be considered X-Men, or if that's, is X-Men the name of the force, the ones who would go out and fight on, like, take the plane and go out and fight and everything, I assume. But so yeah, that's my guess for this movie, is getting more people and getting a bigger team together. What will our threat be this movie? Probably Mystique and whatever she's still doing. I don't think we're going to do a busting Magneto out of prison just yet. I don't think that's going to happen just yet. But probably going to be I'm guessing it's going to be Mystique. If you want to see the reaction, check it out in the description below. The full length is available to everybody, so go check it out. Okay, we are here talking about X2 / X2 X-Men United, which I suppose the X-Men, the uniting of the X-Men is the Magneto's forces and Charles' forces coming together there.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking that, but yeah, I like that a lot more as what the title meant in the end. So, overall, before we get into the details and everything, brief overview. I really like this for having just a villain that you can, the first one was really setting up Charles and Magneto's character and stuff, and Magneto is the villain of it, but again, it's through him not fully understanding the consequences of his own plan and everything.
Yeah.
Versus in this, we can have somebody that both sides, whether you are, agreeing with Magneto, whether you're agreeing with Charles, we can both come together and hate this villain.
Yeah.
And I appreciate having that already in I was about to say episode 2. But in the second movie, just to, bring together both those sides so quickly already. To show their differences and then show their similarities.
Yeah.
And that, it also immediately helps for the people, Magneto was built up as the antagonist in the first one. I think this one also helps bring him down a little bit while not, not saying Magneto is not the antagonist or anything like that. But they do bring him down to, I feel like this was more so that than getting them on the same page.
Yeah, they really got to have their cake and eat it too, in that you get to have the team up, you get to have Magneto, on the same side as the X-Men. You get to also, show off how powerful Charles is. The, big, weapon in the first movie was Magneto, nearly killing himself to, transform people into mutants. Whereas, Xavier doesn't even have to nearly kill himself in order to kill either all the mutants in the world or all the non-mutants in the world.
Yeah. And it's a great job, I've been curious about how they're going to do this. Charles, both movies now have been how do we keep him out of the plot for most of the movie?
Yeah.
He is too powerful. If he is there, he's going to solve all the problems himself. So how do we get him in the, it's the One Piece thing. What do you do with the main character while, he's not only the main character, but what do you do with the most powerful person to keep him away from the big bad until the end? And so, yeah, they did a really good job of it in this one. Again, I'm waiting until it, feels weird, but so far they've done a really good job of both of them. So, overall, I would say that the X-Men, just as a series from both of these so far, I would put on the same level we were just talking about with Iron Fist and the MCU Netflix series.
Okay.
In which I really appreciate how much the X-Men movies are going into social commentary and stuff like that, and it is good enough. It is they go into it deep enough, and there's plenty of flawed stuff with it. There's plenty of iffy stuff, or things I could say, I'm not 100% in the way they executed this or demonstrated this or whatever. I still think Iron Fist and we were just talking about that discussion, which is why I'm bringing that up. It's the same sort of thing. That's why it's making me think of it.
Sure.
I appreciate the messages. I think they're way stronger than most of the MCU movies or anything like that. But it's still a little bit muddled.
Sure.
But it's 90% of the way there.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. So like that is really my takeaway for everything with Stryker as well. Like I think everything about both these movies has been right up there. Like it's not like perfect. It's not like 10 out of 10 material or anything like that.
Right.
But it is so close up there with like it's not mediocrity and it's not extremely great. It's everything. If every superhero movie was as good as these two movies, I would be so happy.
All right. Yeah, it's a pretty strong statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would have pairing the like good moviness of this movie with the message of the first one, I think would have been an even more like perfect combination. Whereas like the first one was pretty short and pretty like popcorny, whereas this one is getting a little bit more into the characters, getting a little bit more serious and everything, but a little bit more muddled in the message and everything. So yeah, I think together they make a. I'm very curious to see where this franchise is going to go. Very worried for where this franchise is going to go because we're starting off very strong. But yeah, so I think that's my overview. Do you want to say anything else? It's like an overview for the movie.
I think you kind of hit it. Yeah.
And it's just in general like each movie. Again, it gives me just enough. There's plenty that I still have questions about or still like. Questions about, and I doubt they're going to answer this kind of way.
Sure.
Like now I'm starting to. Are they ever going to answer though? Who the fuck is Charles? Like, how is he this, like rich? But also, it seems like people don't know him. That's the confusing part. This movie really seemed to establish that people don't know Charles. Like they don't know him as. They're not going to recognize him.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because he also was like he got into that meeting in the first movie.
Yeah.
It's like how the fuck did he get in there if he was not an important person?
And he's powerful enough to get a meeting with Eric like when he's in prison.
Yeah. And the just again the money to be able to build the school and everything like that. I mean maybe they build the school using superpowers or something like that, but they would still need the money. Like the school is legal.
Yeah.
So that's like what is going on there.
Yeah, and like Cerebro, for instance, is so advanced that like Stryker couldn't just make another Cerebro. Like he had the plans, and even then he had to like gut the original Cerebro and take stuff from it to make his.
That's a good point. Didn't think about that because I kind of just assumed that Xavier was just going to be that smart, like he was just the smartest person in the world or whatever. But yeah, it could be some other sort of technology that has come from somewhere else, or I don't know. That feels a little bit weird. I don't know what else it would be.
Because we know also, like, in both movies, they stated that, like, Magneto and Charles made Cerebro together.
Yeah.
It's like, there's something going on there.
But yeah, it's interesting that somebody couldn't recreate it.
Yeah.
With the same plans, and they would need pieces from it. Like, yeah. I wouldn't think that it would be something like, oh, we used the powers of a mutant to make this work. I don't think it's something like that. Like, I don't think it's like the drippy stuff in this movie.
Sure.
Which I think, by the way, that drippy, stuff, I don't know what to call that.
Sure.
But, like, that was such a good, like, just mystery throughout the whole movie. Where, like, what that was kept changing in my mind so much and what's going on. and yeah, the Magneto having the amount of shame that he did from that affecting him and everything like really helped sell the mystery more because like his shame was so deep that it felt like it might have been something else,
right?
Like that it wasn't just manipulation or brainwashing or truth serum or something. But yeah, very very excellently done.
Yeah, like it was wild seeing him like that broken down because even in prison by itself, like it's a demeaning situation.
Yeah.
But yet he was taking it like fairly in stride. And then like when he gets possessed is when he feels like 20 years older.
Yeah.
Like all the pride's drained out of him. He has so much pride usually.
I think it is because at that like he assumes Mystique's gonna get me out of here. But then once they start doing that to him, I think he starts being like okay, she might not be able to get me out of here fast enough.
Yeah.
And I think like his hope started to dwindle at that point. But I do appreciate that he had like I assumed that him being that confident was a confidence almost in himself of like a Mystique's gonna help me out of here, but I will also do but like now I'm reading it a lot more as he just had full confidence that Mystique was going to get him out,
right?
More so than like I will also figure out something and And the way that they went about him breaking out was incredible. I really did not think we were going to do that this fast in this movie already. But yeah, I'm glad that we just broke him out already so quickly. Oh, really appreciate it. I also love that Stryker was like, I was the one who built or designed this plastic prison and all that. And it's like, it's plastic. What do you mean? You just put plastic together. I would say the only like part of it that feels like something we have to design is the bridge.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, that's not metal, but it's able to collapse and uncollapse and everything like that. Is it like a pulley system, like a wire sort of thing?
Yeah.
Or what? It doesn't seem like it. So yeah, that's the only thing that seems curious. That's not that's all plastic.
Yeah, whereas everything else makes really clear sense, and it's like, okay, I could see how you could do that.
Yeah.
And then there's like, there's no security camera in there, because how do you make a security camera out of plastic?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's my point. Of, like, he's trying to boast, like, I designed this whole place. And it's like, you made a nightstick out of plastic. Like, you made a square room.
Right.
Whoop-de-doo.
It's not that impressive.
Yeah. Compared to, like, Cerebro.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you made a plastic square. But
there's interesting stuff about him. Like, he and Magneto are according to Magneto, the only two people in the world who can manipulate adamantium.
Yeah.
And that's just I guess he must have just figured out how to do that at some point.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, there's a lot of stuff like that where they just gotta say so, or like Jason, we get enough information on Jason. That's his name, right?
Yeah, Jason.
Okay, just want to make sure I was right. We get enough information on Jason. I don't know if we're gonna get more information on Jason in a future movie.
Right.
It's gonna feel kind of weird because, Stryker's still out there, so that's a possibility to reconnect that and everything.
Yeah.
But it seems like we didn't see Jason die, so I'm not gonna say that Jason's dead. But I don't know how else they would have got him out of there other than Nightcrawler.
Right.
So I don't know, how he would have possibly gotten out of there.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna assume he's dead, but Stryker could still talk about him. But yeah, there's still some questions I have about Jason, of what was going through his mind, what was he like. I just don't think we get a whole lot from Jason.
No.
And he's a big pivotal point in this, and I would have liked more Jason, but I'm fine with what I got from Jason.
Sure.
Versus, again, the MCU movies, we're all complaining about that shit to high fucking heaven.
Yeah.
And that really is the difference of, the having a good first impression, or just, the rest of the movie is so good that I'm willing to let this stuff, be
sure.
do I really need an I can imply it, and it's they do imply it. It's just not that heavily implied.
Yeah.
That he kind of just wants to die too, and wants I thought, is he being manipulated by his own stuff? But it doesn't seem like it. It seems like he's just he is just totally a badly written character. I'm just gonna.
I mean, I would say it seems pretty obvious that he's being manipulated.
Is he?
Because it seems like he takes orders just from his father. Like, when Mystique gives him the order to, switch from killing all mutants to killing all humans, there's no, weirdness about it. There's no hesitation. It is just okay, I guess that's the plan now. Whereas, if he was invested in the kill all mutants thing, he could just keep on doing that. So.
Sure. I suppose so. Yeah, why would he change it? Yeah, I didn't think about that. But also, if he's not being manipulated with the chemical juice, right? Or else, how does that work? Why is it just Stryker who's able to give them commands?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that's my only hang up is,
sure,
if he is being manipulated with his own juices, then how is only Stryker the one manipulating him? Also, how is Stryker the one manipulating these people throughout the whole movie? But I'm willing to let it go.
Sure.
I'm willing to let it go. It makes sense on the surface. I think that's kind of maybe what they were going for, but yeah, that just doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah, we don't get a full explanation, but I think in practice we see it enough.
Yeah, it's good enough. It's good enough. I'll take it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm looking for. Good enough.
In the absence of Stryker being a mutant or having some other power, I do appreciate how much this movie gives him stuff that is his.
Sure.
Both the fact that the controlling people with the droppy thing is a thing he does. He doesn't delegate it. No one else does that.
Yeah.
And then also the adamantium thing.
Yeah. Again, there's things that could explain it away. Maybe when he does the like brings out the mutant juice, and he also puts his own DNA in there with it. So it's like they take commands just from me,
Right.
you know, or something. But you know, they don't say anything like that.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I get you.
But yeah, there is answers. It's not like I can't find an answer there. So, the adamantium stuff, like yeah, it is interesting that he's the only one, like, you know, who Wolverine was the one who said it.
It was Magneto.
Or Magneto was the one who said it.
Yeah, Magneto specifically said, apart from me, Stryker's the only one I know who can manipulate adamantium, and I can tell from like the adamantium in you that he did it.
Okay. I mean, well, is that just because he's the only other one, or is that because of the way it's designed? I assume it would be because it's the way it's designed.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there's other people besides that one girl that we fought that has, you know, adamantium all in them and everything. It is interesting that the adamantium also sounded all robotic and clinky and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was the case. But yeah, that was a really interesting fight. Like, that seems like it was going to be a huge hurdle, but then the solution is honestly pretty simple.
Right.
You know? And it was a brutal fight for as short as it
yeah.
lasted. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's not going to be a long... Like, I thought it was going to be a big hurdle, but I didn't think about... Like, once we saw that she has the fingers, too, it's like, okay, this is going to get real brutal real quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that is... a fight between essentially two immortals is so fascinating. But then she also has the healing, which is curious. So curious. Because... where would she have gotten that? Was she already a mutant? Because, as they say, like, you know, they said that, but then we get the reveal that it's adamantium.
Yeah.
But she could have also been a mutant. Or there's just multiple mutants who have the healing thing, and then he was making them into the adamantium thing. Like, maybe he cloned a mutant gene. I don't know how you would do that. Like, take it out, put it back into somebody else. Like, can you make somebody a mutant? I don't know.
Yeah, like the only thing we've seen to do that is Magneto's thing, which also is very experimental and doesn't really work.
Yeah, so to make somebody to extract I'm saying, like, let's say you take something out of somebody, like you take the mutant gene out of them, you clone that mutant gene, then you put it back in them and back into somebody else, as opposed to like Magneto's machine was changing their DNA to have, like, as if they were a mutant the whole time, you know.
Sure.
Like, unlocking their own mutant thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure how that works, right? Because if you're a mutant, you have this inherent thing in you, and then it unlocks and everything. Whereas Magneto's machine is, how is that putting that into them? Like, it's giving them a unique mutant ability.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like, what I'm saying is a thing where you're taking a specific, already it is this mutant ability out of cloning that, and then giving it to two people. The healing, you know, thing. That's my guess. That's the only thing I can think that I feel like is different enough from the Magneto machine and makes enough sense where I would buy that, like, yeah, this one works and that one didn't. And that's why Magneto wouldn't have done that, because he would have to, you know, be giving every mutant in the world the same quirk sort of thing. And I just called them quirks. But, yeah, and then that would kind of be irrelevant to his whole plan.
Yeah.
So, that's my guess. And again, this movie, like the first movie, a lot of setup for the Wolverine stuff. We get a lot more answers, but also still so many unanswered questions, and bringing up so many more questions that we're going to hopefully get answered in the next movie.
Yeah.
Because I'm picturing this as a, like, it's like a bunch of trilogies, right? I know this is not like a full, like, series.
Sure.
It is kind of like, you know, it is one long franchise, but they didn't plan it to be one long franchise. It was all, like, cut up and everything.
Yeah, they're like mini franchises within it.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that, you know, we kind of settle this all in the third movie here, and that'll be really interesting to have these, you know, like, in this franchise, having these sort of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's always going to be 1, 2, 3, but you know, I like that it's going to be continuing over, but we have these individual story arcs. Again, it feels, I like this is already so much because it feels like a show to me. I feel like I called it episode 2, so that's what it feels like, you know. I'm watching episode 1, I'm watching episode 2, and yeah, I am in TV shows, you know, you have that, like, most TV shows go with like a 3 to 4 episode structure. You're following something for 4 episodes, then you're following, moving on to the next thing. And that's what this is going to feel like. I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that I'm gonna get that same vibe out of this. This is all just gonna feel like one really long season 1. So, yeah, I think that's we're still kind of on an overall for the whole movie right now. For the still overall new character, Nightcrawler introduced. Probably my favorite right now, other than Wolverine. Like Wolverine, number 1, but Wolverine is also. I think it's hard for me to say Wolverine is my favorite until after the 3rd movie.
Okay.
Because he's very much so right now in the state where he is trying to figure out who he is, and again, he's still in that not really picking a side right now.
Yeah.
He's just on the fence, and I'm waiting to see where he ends up. And I think he's really interesting right now. Nightcrawler, I don't know if I would say he's my favorite over Wolverine right now. Even
sure,
they're like right up there. I really enjoy Nightcrawler on a he's very comedic, but he also has a lot of good pathos and just like sympathy, and he feels like a mutant that has been oppressed, by people that we have on Charles' side. They talk about it a lot, but we don't really get any first-hand examples from any of them. We don't really know where the fuck Storm came from, where
Jean Grey.
She doesn't have she doesn't have a name thing. I was trying to think of her.
No, she
name.
doesn't.
Yeah,
it's just Jean Grey.
Yeah, and then Cyclops. But yeah, we don't know where really. Do we know anything about Jean's backstory? I thought we knew a little bit about her backstory. Am I wrong?
I don't believe so.
Or might not. I think we just know that she's been there for a while. Like, she's been there since she was pretty young.
Yeah.
But I don't think we know that exactly about Storm, Cyclops. I think, those are ambiguous when they showed up at the school. But I believe we do know that Jean has been here since she was younger.
Yeah.
Which does mean that the school has been around for quite a bit. Relatively. I don't know how old Jean is, so... so I good to have somebody like Nightcrawler on Charles' side now, who actually was oppressed and everything like that, and has that really sad backstory and everything that we can get behind. I'm glad that we have that on both sides of our mutant leaders.
Yeah, and he has a very unique sort of pathos. He isn't a character where when he talks you're supposed to accept everything he's saying as fact. It is his opinion. It is he is a very religious person, and his religion has helped him through his life.
I really like that too. I love characters that have a extremely hyper specific lens that they're viewing everything from.
Yeah.
And I appreciate Magneto as well. He is viewing everything through the lens of his past and everything that happened to him in Nazi Germany and all that, and still so relevant to this prison that he's in now, and everything going on today. And I don't really have that for Charles. Charles, I don't know. He's just kind of the general normie outlook on things. Charles doesn't feel like the outlook of a mutant. I think that's why I'm curious to get his backstory.
Yeah, what brought him to this place?
Yeah, why is he so trusting? So I think Nightcrawler was a really good addition to bring in, just as a surprise. We only really added one new mutant to the ranks in this movie. All the other ones have been in the school this whole time, so that doesn't really count. And even then, we didn't really introduce them. We just kind of were like, we did the same sort of thing. Last movie we showed Iceman and Pyro a little bit, and then in this movie they actually get to do some stuff. In this movie now we're showing off the Glasses Kid and Tongue Kid and Big Buff Shirtless. I don't even know how he feels like he should be a teacher.
He's just an old teenager.
Yeah, he's just he looks so mature for his age.
We've also seen Kitty once in each movie.
The girl who goes through the walls, right?
Yeah.
But her is interesting. I don't think they're building her up for anything. Whereas I think the shirtless dude, I think the kid with the glasses was real weird. It really felt like he was gonna be a thing in this movie, and then he wasn't at all.
No.
And then even at the end there, we had the Tongue Kid again instead of him, who had a closer connection to Wolverine.
Yeah.
So curious. I don't know. But it feels like we're doing we showed them so that way in the third movie they can have their powers,
Mhm.
you know, and you know they feel more confident about having them do stuff.
Yeah.
Versus Nightcrawler was a big just, we're just gonna throw you right into it,
Mhm.
immediately introduce you to this, and yeah,
Like, he's already been around the block.
yeah, he's already been here. He already is a good fighter, and he's showcases his worth multiple times throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Incredibly helpful. And again, like for a character that is very depressing, also so fun,
Mhm.
so fun.
And I appreciate how much he's willing to just talk to people.
Mhm.
Like, for being the newbie. I really enjoyed the scene where he talks to Mystique. Like, it is just a
Yeah.
super quick, hey, you can transform yourself. Like, we're both the, you know, the blue people who look very non-human.
Mhm.
Why don't you always look human? And she's like, well, because we shouldn't have to.
Yeah,
It's such an immediate, like, his religion helps him, you know, stay focused. He has his own outlook that keeps him sane, and, you know, he thinks a lot of people are, you know, way more scared than he is.
Mhm.
But at the same time, he has this, like, you know, lack of confidence. You know, there's this deep thing in him where he's like, I would want to hide myself if I could, though.
yeah, I really appreciate that.
Yeah, like, there's so many different layers of people and how they've reckoned with being mutants.
Yeah, again, the different outlooks that everybody has. Mystique, I'm so curious to get. Like,
Mhm.
this is, you know, again, I'm so curious to get everybody's backstories,
Yeah.
which is something that is, like, other than, like, an origin story, not something I think about very often with superheroes,
Mhm.
very much. So, I'm glad that this is really bringing this out of me, where it's like, I really want to know everything about their backstory and everything. I'd say the ones I want to know the most about are Mystique and Xavier. Those
Mhm.
two are like what is up with their like what do they go through?
Yeah.
And especially like the mutants who have such a like physical change. I want to see more of that. Like I want to see what happens when they, you know, crack that egg, you know,
Mhm.
whatever you would call that. Whenever they pubertize mutant wise.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm most hyped about.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope we can just get more mutants that are visually interesting, like
Sure.
you know the ones that don't just pass as humans. Like I think
Mhm.
those designs are so fascinating. They're doing
Yeah.
a really good job. This is 2003, and like Mystique looks so good.
Mhm.
Nightcrawler looks good. Toad looked fucking great.
Yeah.
Like Toad is what I'm still calling as like a different design
Oh, yeah.
or like a more mutant design.
Yeah, like, even besides the tongue, like, the way he slouches, like, he's got extra makeup and stuff on.
Yeah, it's like I want more of that stuff.
Mhm.
Give me more because like again, I'm gonna be constantly relating this shit to the MCU. I
Of course.
cannot
Yeah,
not.
please.
But yeah,
Mhm.
we don't get as much of that wacky shit in there, and I'm not gonna be getting as much of that wacky shit in there. They always
Yeah.
try and make it more realistic or more toned down, or wearing a costume over the makeup sort of stuff. And
Mhm.
yeah. They're doing a great job with the makeup. Do more makeup. Do
Mhm.
even more and more. The senator with the watery face and all that was great.
Mhm.
All that shit, so good. Even say like Saber looked
Sabretooth.
Sabretooth. Yeah, he looked ridiculous, but
Mhm.
he at least it was still cool. Like
Mhm.
it looked so much like a costume, but it was still. I would much rather be that than it be something trying to be more realistic or
Yeah.
whatever. Like and Mystique really sold it with that line. Like we shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to. Look like a human and everything like that. They shouldn't have to have these more realistic. Like I love the difference
Mhm.
between the flamboyant designs of everybody in Magneto's group versus the
Yeah.
leather suits that they can barely move around in of Charles's group. I really hope that after the third movie we get better suits. Because like they look cool. I'm not gonna say they don't look cool.
Sure.
I'm not a leather guy. They look pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the fights are kind of ridiculous. And Wolverine's going. Like it is the first movie I couldn't tell. This with the fight with the adamantium one, I can tell they can barely move in these suits.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope we can get better suits. Moving on.
Fingers crossed.
All right, where do we want to go now? I feel like I've given a big overview on like all the major stuff in the movie. Now we can start going into the more specific stuff.
Okay.
Do you want to launch me into anything specific? We talked about it a little bit, but I love how Magneto breaks out of fucking prison.
Oh, yeah.
Like one with just bringing all the iron out of his body, establishing like it is a double thing of such a cool prison break, but it also establishes why he can't do this normally
Yeah.
with other people. And any scene that has like a extremely strong double reasoning like that is gonna be a fucking great one in my book. But again, showing how insanely powerful he is.
Yeah.
That he is always restraining himself, and he is always like he could just go all out at any moment, but he is not because
Yeah, and like it is a breakout plan that it establishes that Mystique knows that Magneto is either like unconsciously or consciously always checking the guard. Like, how much metal do you have in there? Did you like bring in a paperclip or something?
Yeah. Oh, it's genius plan.
Yeah.
Because Mystique could have done the I'm going to disguise myself as the guard. That was the obvious thing. That's how I kept saying, like, obviously Mystique's gonna get him out. She can disguise herself. That's the easiest way to get him out. She didn't even use that. That was not how she got him out. That is great writing. When you have your character who can shapeshift, break somebody out of prison, not via shapeshifting, fucking genius.
Yeah, like she has so many tricks. Like she is such a good infiltrator.
Yeah, I mean she's still Kelly. She's still Senator Kelly. I love that. Oh, it is so great to have an inside man.
Yeah.
It's. Man, I really love that sort of stuff in this movie. All the like that little attention to detail. Some of the grander stuff, like the James stuff, it's iffy. But they really pay attention to detail on the smaller details that actually matter more, honestly.
Yeah.
And boy, so many fucking like. Last movie was very popcorn, I said, but this movie had so many like. Jump me out of my seat moments of coolness, like fucking was it Rogue getting ripped out of the plane, right? Or who was the guy ripped out of the plane?
Oh, who did get ripped out of the plane? No, I think it was Rogue.
It was Rogue. And then Night Stalker like grabbing her, jumping back into the plane. Holy shit, that is dope.
Like, it does a really good job of putting the characters in situations where you're like, I don't know how they're going to get out of it. Even though, like, half of them are obscenely powerful.
Yeah.
Because you still don't think about how obscenely powerful they are. Like, with Storm just, taking out the fighter jets.
Yeah.
It is a real, like, oh, do we have missiles? Oh, wait, no, we have someone who can create tons and tons of twisters.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, she can't, like, aim them at people or anything. She's just bringing them down and hoping it works. And then, like, because of that, they also don't have radar, so when the missile gets fired, they don't know about the missile until it's almost there.
Yeah, like, that is that whole flying sequence was fantastic for it.
Yeah.
I am normally not a fan of that sort of stuff, of like whether it be space battles or just air battles and stuff like that. Generally not a fan of it. They got me on that one. It was really interesting. Again, I'm really getting into this like shitty CG. The plane looks fucking terrible. The plane, oh my god, don't get me started. But like the missiles, like it's bad CG.
Sure.
But God, I appreciate the fact that like we're seeing so much of it rather than like so quick cuts of like a way more realistic looking missile and CGI scene. But it's like. It doesn't stick in my mind visually as much.
Yeah, like they managed to sell the scene, so it doesn't matter if it looks shitty. Like you still get what they're getting across, and the performances are all good, and they all sell you on yes, we're in a plane, and that's gonna get hit by 2 missiles.
Oh yeah,
like that's the point.
Yeah, exactly. I will always appreciate shitty CG as long as it's giving me a good visual of what is happening. I may laugh at it. I may say, oof, 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 my bones, ow, CG. But I still appreciate it.
We were just talking about Magneto, and I do want to go back to him real quick, because I really like his relationship with Mystique.
Yeah.
Like, in that... Like, the scene where she's whispering to him, and he's, like, whispering back, and they're just, like, gossiping about Rogue, and then they dunk on her after, the reason why her hair looks like that is because they nearly killed her.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we like what you did with your hair. Like, he's so catty.
Dude, I didn't see that as a dig. I thought they were genuine about that.
No, I took that as a dig.
Okay. I just take it as they were genuine. Because to be fair, it does seem like she has done something with her hair. Like after the first movie, she had like a white streak through it, whereas now she has like a whole part of it like dyed white.
Yeah.
So like it does seem like she has leaned into it.
Which I do appreciate that.
Yeah. But yeah, they did just try and kill her.
Yeah. Like Magneto and Sir Ian McKellen specifically adds a level of like like regal flamboyancy to the character that I really like.
Oh yeah.
Like, he is very theatrical. He's not like super duper over the top in every scene, but there's a lot of just like, he is very proud.
Yeah.
And he loves being a mutant. Like, that scene coupled with like right after when he's talking to Pyro and they have that talk, it is such a like, I'm an older gay guy and you're new and you don't know what's going on and you feel super oppressed. I'm just gonna tell you, listen, you're awesome.
Yeah.
Blow up cop cars.
Yeah, the whole like, no, what is your real name scene?
Yeah.
Is so good, and it's cemented that I am going to be trying, like, you know, it's already easier to do that.
Yeah.
And so I am definitely going to be trying to stick with, you know, their real names.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but then at the same time, like, you have a distinction between, he has that, but then everybody in Charles's group thinks that they're like human name, or like they want to be called by their human name.
Yeah.
Like, that's the way it seems, at least. Storm is the only one where it seems like they just call her Storm.
Yeah. And Storm's fine with that.
Yeah. To be fair, do we know what her name is?
I don't think they've ever said it, actually.
Because, like, Storm is still a name. It could just be her actual name as well. It could be a dual thing there. Like, Jean, where, you know, her power name is Jean. Because at first she thought she could just manipulate genes.
Oh, no! I believe Storm's real name is in the credits. So, like, she has a non-mutant name. But I do think she probably goes, you know, she does consider Storm to be her real name.
Yeah. She is, like, the most mutant-y out of all of them. Like, I assume that her hair was... She did not dye her hair that way. I assume it turned that way when she became a mutant. And, like, the eye thing as well. Like, glossing over when she does her powers sort of thing. Like, is more mutant-y than the majority of them are.
Yeah.
Like, Cyclops is, you know... maybe a little bit more mutant-y, but we don't see what his eyes look like, so I don't know.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't seem like he can turn it off.
Yeah. Like, when he has his eyes closed, like, you know, I don't know where I'm getting at with that.
Yeah.
Just that out of all of them, she looks slightly more mutant-y. But yeah, so, it's interesting. For the majority of them, I'll be calling them by their real name.
Yeah.
Whereas, for Charles's group, I guess I will call them by their... human name, real name.
Yeah, I'd say whatever they go by the most is probably what you're going to remember. So it's probably fine.
Yeah. But yeah, I did that scene was extreme highlight of this, and like Pyro, not a well written character, very badly written character, but I you know, like the direction they're taking. They're doing it so over the top, and so like you're supposed to hate this guy and everything, where it's like this guy's totally fine. He's done nothing wrong. He's totally okay, dude. Like, also at the beginning of the movie, it was really weird that we were supposed to think that he was a jerk for getting his lighter stolen from him.
Right.
Like, what was that scene? He's a jerk because he got something stolen from him. I don't know what kind of logic that is, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, Pyro is interesting. I feel like they're gonna do him in a very bad way in the next movie. But justice for Pyro. He's fine. He's done nothing wrong so far.
Yeah, and he does fit a lot better with Magneto's group. Like, it's very clear at the end that, unlike the first movie where Rogue gets kidnapped and they're like, okay, she got kidnapped, like, we have to go save her. Like, everyone is clearly aware, even if they didn't see it. Like, if Pyro, if Pyro's not here and Magneto's not here, he probably went willingly. Like, we're not gonna mount a rescue mission.
Yeah. Yeah, I do appreciate that. I didn't think about that, but I do appreciate that they didn't say, well, let's go get him back or whatever.
Yeah.
At the same time, you might chalk that up to them just being like, we didn't like him, glad we got rid of him. But I choose to hope it's the former.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, in terms of, again, what I was saying, I really like the messages in this movie and everything, but I feel like they're muddled in the way they execute them and everything.
Sure.
The Pyro thing, you know, is an example of that. And, you know, furthering, I think having Wolverine be able to execute and kill all these, like, you know, secret police, whatever you want to call them, Stryker's whole group, and then we have the police outside working with them. I mean, it's the exact same thing. This is all the same forces.
Sure.
And, you know, then we can't let Pyro do it. It's a very, like, muddled message.
Yeah.
It's a very clear, in this scene it's okay because it's cool when Wolverine does it, but you guys don't know who Pyro is, and he's not edgy, so we can't have that be a cool thing. It's so much of a, like, depending on which character does it, it's a
Yeah.
different message, and it's really weird.
Yeah, because it is Rogue in both instances who goes, like, I'm okay with Wolverine's killing these people. Like, she could have stopped him if
Yeah, she
she
could
had
have
a
easily
problem.
stopped him.
And in the same way, like, she's the one who stops Pyro.
Mhm.
So it's not even a, like, in this instance, difference. And in this instance, like, it is the same person casting judgments.
Yeah. It is her saying, Wolverine's allowed to do it because I love Wolverine.
Yeah.
Pyro's not allowed to do it because he got his lighter stolen and he was a jerk about it.
Because we hate him.
But yeah, that sort of stuff bothers me, where it's like
Mhm.
I know that you are doing this for the moms in the audience. I know you are doing this for those kind of idiot people, the crowd, where it's like,
Mhm.
the rest of us, we don't need this.
Sure.
Why are we trying to act like the only people who join Magneto have to be evil?
Right. It's...
But, yeah.
I really love, like, the start of the movie, like, the whole going to the museum and talking about evolution,
Yeah.
like, as a parallel to current times.
Mhm. It is... right, I forgot about that. So they're implying that mutants are it was Homo sapiens breeding with...
Neanderthals?
yeah, I can't remember the exact terms of any of that stuff. But, like...
No, that's not what they're implying.
that was not what they were
No, that's
implying.
not it at all.
Okay, what were they implying?
In the same, like, they were saying that in the past we used to think that Homo sapiens and Neanderthals, like, existed for a while side by side, and then the Homo sapiens killed all the Neanderthals.
Mm-hmm.
But current evidence suggests they interbred.
Yeah.
In the same way, like, mutants in the first movie were, like, described as the next stage of humanity, and in this movie it's the same thing. Like, there's Homo sapiens, and then you have the mutants.
Mm-hmm.
And what they were essentially just saying was, it seems like these two sides are going to have to fight each other, and the mutants are going to kill all the humans. But they could interbreed.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I was like, what are they
No.
saying? Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Big
Yeah.
clear up. Thank you.
But yeah, like, it ties into the crawl for both movies of, every, couple hundred years, there's a giant jump forward in evolution.
Mm-hmm.
It is the, like, we're setting up this war, but, like, the war doesn't necessarily have to happen. It didn't happen in the past, but everyone thought it did.
Yeah.
So in the same way, like, there is the possibility of humans and mutants coexisting.
Yeah, that is a good...
Because that also ties into the, the end game of this movie where, Magneto wants to still wipe out all the humans. Stryker wants to wipe out all the mutants.
Mhm.
But there is the possibility that you don't have to do that. But they could continue to live side by side and not go to war.
Yeah. I feel like, again, it's an interesting metaphor. It's still modeled by the fact that they do eventually die out. So, like, yeah, I think the message is a little bit muddled, but I think,
Yeah.
it's still fine.
Mhm.
It is good enough. And that's all we can hope for.
Yeah. Like, it's the thing that'll happen when any movie is trying to do, like, something like mutants, where they are their own thing, and they're standing in for, a bunch of different stuff, but they're also their own thing.
Yeah.
So you can't draw a straight line. Like, there's a lot of, especially because, like, LGBT stuff was super, super big at this point in time. They wanted to put in a lot of, like, stuff that related mutants to gay people.
Okay.
Like, I know Sir Ian McKellen did, like, touch on a lot of the stuff at Bobby's house, at Iceman's house.
Mm-hmm.
Like, with his parents saying stuff like, have you tried
yeah.
not being a mutant?
Oh, that whole
Yeah.
scene was very, very... That's what I
Yeah.
said. This feels like a classic... This
Yeah.
feels like a, Sparky stop being gay,
Yeah.
line sort of thing. It is the classic...
It's very classic. Everyone remembers that.
Sure, yeah. They give it so much time to breathe, too.
Yeah.
Like, she, like, really stumbles her way into it.
Oh,
and, like,
yeah.
Yeah. That line is extremely... In 2003, extremely
Yeah.
memeable.
And the whole scene has this awkward energy to it. Because, like,
Oh,
they all just went there because they thought it was going to be a quick safe haven. They weren't expecting to have this conversation.
Yeah.
They don't do it super well.
And, like, that was where I first started to, like, getting a feel of who Wolverine is.
Yeah.
Like, he's not just going along with stuff. He was really, like, sticking his foot down for not himself and not, like, Rogue, but for somebody else.
Yeah.
A different person that wasn't... Because that's really been the thing. He's selfish. He's, you know, he'll just do stuff for himself, for Rogue and everything like that, but that's really kind of been his character. And he's not been, like, overly selfish or anything. Most people are pretty selfish in some ways.
Yeah.
And, yeah, he just, you know, was slightly selfish and then had a lot of memory loss and was just kind of being drug around through things and having to do shit. And
Yeah.
that scene with Bobby felt like he was, you know, and everything in the house before that as well, to be fair, like in the school, I should say, I mean, really felt like he was getting along with these kids. Wolverine being the babysitter really, you know, gave him more personality in this movie.
I find it really unique that in both these movies, Wolverine is very much the protagonist of his own movie, but he's not the protagonist of this movie. Like, he is very important, and he has his own plot line, and he does, like...
Who would you say is the main character, then?
I don't think there is a main character in either movie. Like, they are ensemble movies.
Sure, but I would say that Wolverine is the main character. I feel like even in ensemble movies, even in ensemble stuff, you always still have the main character. And they feel a lot less main character-y than a normal main character. But you can still, at the end of the day, say Wolverine is... Who is going to be the person who is center on the poster?
Okay.
I think that's the way you look at it a lot.
Sure.
You know? And I think Wolverine is definitely always going to be center on these posters. He is always, you know, the plot is revolving around him in both movies. Well, not the first movie, I guess.
Like,
actually, the first movie is not really relevant to him at all.
Yeah, like, he has his plot line, but it is a little off to the side.
Yeah. Like, it's not relevant to the main plot of the movie. Whereas the main plot of the movie is entirely 100% relevant to Wolverine.
Yeah. Like, I'll agree with that. So,
yeah.
I always think of it as there's the Charles and Magneto and Stryker plots, and then there's Wolverine, and Wolverine has a relationship with Stryker, so that's how they intersect.
Yeah. Like, yeah, they are intersecting that way. Like, it isn't like he's doing all this because of Wolverine, but it is, we are following it from Wolverine's perspective, and then it ties to Wolverine, so even when we're not following it from his perspective, it's...
Yeah.
But for the first bit of the movie, we're following it from Wolverine's perspective. Whereas the first movie, I would say Rogue is the main character.
Sure.
You know, I would not say that Wolverine is the main character. Maybe Wolverine would be on the, you know, front cover, but I would, you know, I would not be surprised if Rogue was center on the movie poster.
Yeah. I don't think Wolverine was on the center in either movie poster, to be fair.
Really? Who was center in this one?
Let me check. I actually have the poster up.
Oh, actually, nobody's center.
No. The X is in the center.
Dun, 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 dun. It's actually Wolverine and Storm up in the top, like the biggest.
Yeah.
There. Wow, that's actually really surprising. But, okay, so...
And they do, like, because it is X-Men United, they do, like, alternate the heroes and villains at the bottom.
Yeah.
Like, there is... It's not like, you know, here are the X-Men, here are the, you know, the, Brotherhood.
Yeah. But, yeah, I actually did not think they would do that. Yeah. That's actually... Interesting. I'll give it to you. But I'm still saying, Rogue main character of the first one, Wolverine main character of this one.
I'm not going to argue with that.
Maybe we'll even do like a different main character the third one.
This movie's like the way it was put together is also pretty interesting because it is adapted from two different X-Men plot lines, and one of them is the Wolverine's backstory plots, and the other one is Stryker trying to kill mutants.
Okay.
And I think that's also why I think of it as being like two separate trains.
Yeah.
And they do a really good job of integrating them in a way where, like, it doesn't feel completely separate.
Also, once again, let's do some more MCU comparisons.
Okay.
We are second movie in, and our main villain is a bad guy, a normal person, like a normal human, who, you know, wants to kill all of the superpowered people.
Yeah.
You know, and I gotta say, like, Zemo is probably my least favorite, MCU villain.
Sure.
Like, I don't know about that. You know, maybe not that, but he's higher up than some people, like fucking Malekith or something.
Sure.
But still, he's low. And I think a lot of that reasoning is just because watching the whole movie, it's a really good movie. But then when you take a step back and then you go, wait, how the fuck does any of this goddamn plan make any sense at all?
Yeah.
Like, Zemo just does not, his plan does not make sense. None of his actions feel logical. Whereas Stryker feels so real. He feels like all his plans are logical. He feels like, you know, he has gotten to where he is because of his accomplishments and because of his intelligence. Like, you know, his plans are good.
Yeah. Like, I think it does... A big part of it is that in the MCU, they couldn't have it be someone in the American military. because they had gotten rid of Hydra, and after that they were like, okay, there are no more bad people in the military.
Yeah.
Whereas, and like in X2, we do not see any like American military stuff that is actually American military stuff. Like, they didn't borrow any tanks, they didn't borrow any planes.
And
like, it's all
this is
CG.
all-
Like the base is
Stryker's
all...
supposed to be the
Yeah.
the rogue agent sort of dude,
Yeah.
where even the president's like, I didn't know about this. Whoa, what's this?
Yeah, like, there's still some distance, but, like, they do go on with the, like, at the very least, he is part of the government, and they did something in the past that Wolverine was involved with. Like, there's a whole dark backstory there.
Yeah, we're definitely they're
Like-
not trying to say that the military did anything bad in this movie.
Yeah.
And that's how they got away with it, but...
Mhm. But it still allows them to have a villain who has been, like, in this universe in the past for a long, long, long time. That's why he can do all the stuff at, Adamantium. That's why he's involved. That's why he's so important here. That's how he could build up this entire plan.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, with Zemo, he is, like, very much an outsider. He is just a guy from a foreign military who was like, what if I destroyed the Avengers? I'm just gonna sneak in through the side.
Just going to create the wildest plan with
Yeah.
a million different places to go wrong.
Mhm.
None of this I should have any knowledge of at all.
Yeah.
I think that's also the thing. Stryker has information on all this stuff.
Mhm.
He gets the information and then he acts. He does not gamble everything on a billion different things that could go wrong. I really appreciate it. This plan makes sense when I think about it all in the end. And everything.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that this movie felt like, throughout watching it, kept being like, okay, we're bringing up a whole other plot line here. Okay, we're bringing up a whole other plot line here. How the hell are we going to solve all these plot lines? And I went, oh, they're all connected to the same thing. This is all Jason. Everything's Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, Jason's a pretty small part of this movie for the fact that literally everything in this movie is connected back to Jason.
Yeah.
But, which maybe, like, maybe we'll get a little bit more from in the next movie, but
Mhm.
I doubt it. But, I mean, if Stryker's still alive, if Wolverine's still... We still got to figure out more about Wolverine's past and all that.
Yeah.
So, we're probably going to get a little bit more. I hope, please.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of stuff that happened in the past that they could still, like, talk about.
Yeah. Like, we don't really get exactly why Charles failed him.
Yeah.
Like, we
Like-
just get the... We can assume... Like, from Stryker's perspective, it is because you didn't cure him of his beating things.
Yeah.
But then, we can also assume from Charles's perspective that he couldn't help him in the way that, like...
Mhm.
he kept saying, "Just get rid of this," like
Yeah.
Jason did, and Charles was like, I don't want to do that. I
Right.
can't. One, I can't do that. Two,
Yeah, like, I shouldn't.
I shouldn't. I'm trying to help you come to terms with it and everything.
Yeah, like, I think it's important that we never get Jason's perspective on what all this was.
Yeah,
It is fundamentally from two different, very biased sources.
yeah,
And I think that is, like, that goes a long way to helping me accept why, it doesn't fully make sense when you put all the pieces together, because we don't have all the pieces.
yeah, potentially. Because also, like, with the manipulation thing, one of the parts that doesn't, like, his eyes are so, like, boring. Like, not like as in, like, dull, that isn't, like, they are, like, boring into your soul.
Yeah.
Like, they are, and, like, the visions that he's giving them are so intentional
Mhm.
and everything that it doesn't, and the way that we see him as a kid, it doesn't feel like he's being manipulated in the way
Yeah.
that the girl was very monotone, robotic, doing what needs to be done. Then when it was wearing off, she was going like, like her personality was coming
Mhm.
back. So I would think that he would also be very robotic, very like,
Mhm.
not having any real emotion, just doing what was told
Yeah.
if he was being manipulated. But again, we will see later.
Mhm.
What else do you want to talk about? Where else should we go from here? There's a lot to go over here. The beginning scene with Night Stalker and the music and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very well done. Like, in every way, just of like at first I was like okay, is this Mystique again? First, time we're seeing this blue thing. Then it's like, okay, no, it's teleporting around. It's
Mhm.
got a tail. It's okay, what the hell is this? Also have, like, basically a similar eye to Mystique as well.
Yeah.
Which the blue and yellow is such a good combination.
It's so striking.
It's so striking. You got
And
it.
you got all of his, like... I appreciate how much is going on with him, and also the fact that his, like... I forget what that's called. Like, when you carve stuff into your skin.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, but, like... The fact that all of that is there, and that's not related to his mutation at all. Like, he did that himself.
Yeah.
It gives him so many visual layers immediately.
Oh yeah, he's got so much. The teeth as well. He's got going on. Like, he's got a hell of a lot design wise.
Yeah.
And yeah, Mystique, by the way,
Uh-huh.
the every time where she goes through a whole conversation, then like office camera or like office style looks at the camera, flashes her eyes yellow,
Yeah.
and then moves on. And it's like, this is just for us. This is just for me as an audience. This is for why are you doing this, Mystique?
Maybe she likes it. Because at the end of the last movie, she does straight up do it to the camera. Like, that is how the
Yeah.
X-Men were like, oh, that's her.
Yeah. But I mean, to be fair, that was her accidentally. That was her, like, she was having trouble holding the form and it was
Yeah.
leaving. This was her just going, like, whole conversation, look at camera,
Fair.
yellow eyes. It's just like, what? Why did you do that?
Mhm.
But yeah, I really appreciate, once again, the, like, mystery thing of he's taking the knife, he's about to go kill him and everything, gets shot once, and then is immediately like, I'm done, I'm leaving. And it felt like such a big plot hole, like a...
Yeah.
I felt like I was going to be complaining about that so much in the discussion, and then a big old twist of, you know, the like, something physical happening to you in a big way is, wears off the effects of this.
Yeah.
Which is also crazy. Didn't get shot that entire time. I thought he must have gotten shot at least like once or twice, but no.
Nope. He's that good.
Yeah. Also, Wolverine's hair feels like it is even more shaped in this movie than it was in the
yeah.
first movie. It's so much more outliney.
Yeah, it really makes him pop against the snow.
Yeah. And also, I was so confused as to what the fuck he did there, but in retrospect, it is very, very Wolverine to walk all the way to Alkali Lake.
Yeah.
See that, like, just see that it's, you know, demolished on the surface and go, not gonna check anything, not gonna
Yeah.
bother to check a single thing, immediately gonna walk all the way back.
I think the way that Charles and Magneto like handle Wolverine is also very telling with their personalities. Where Charles is very, very careful. He's like, well, I don't want to, you know, trouble his brain. He's still very fragile, so I'm going to, like, even though he went all the way there and he didn't see anything and he came back and I probably know what's going on there, I'm not going to, like, I'll let him learn it himself. Whereas Magneto's like, I don't care about his sanity. You want the answers? I'll tell you the answers.
Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, he's probably being driven more insane not having these answers.
Right.
Like, he is walking across the entire fucking United States and Canada to try and get this shit, and everybody's just like, oh, you learned on your own time, Wolverine. He's like, I
Yeah.
just tried to!
His brain's gonna get fried.
Which, okay, Charles's time stoppy. It's not time stoppy. It is brain and body stoppy.
Yeah. Like, we saw him do it in the first movie, too.
Did he do that in the first movie?
Yeah.
When the hell did he do that in the first movie?
It was pretty early on. I don't remember what it was specifically, but there was, like, you know, just in a big crowd and he stopped everyone. Like, this is just a callback to that.
Really? I don't even remember that in the first movie at all. I can't remember. You don't remember when the fuck it happened at all?
No.
Okay, well,
When did he do that?
either way, you know, the first time he does it, you know, like in this movie, they're all fine. The time he does it at the end of the movie, I don't understand how that works in any possible universe.
I mean, I think it's fine. The transmission cut out before he did that.
Right.
Like-
Okay. So
like, yeah.
but what is weird is that
Mhm.
the transmission cuts out.
Yeah.
Then he stops everybody.
Yeah.
They come back in. They haven't fixed the transmission problem or anything.
Mhm.
Or if it fixed on its own, they haven't said anything like, okay, Mr. President, it's fixed. You
Yeah.
can go again. We're live again. You know? There's nothing. They act like they've been rolling the whole time, and the president should know. that
Yeah.
but it's like, they all went like, oh, what's going on? The power's going out, you know? Or
Right.
It's like, that just didn't make any sense at all. It felt like their brains were wiped from 5 seconds ago or whatever. Like, I don't know how the fuck that worked. And then what were people watching at home?
It's cut out.
But I mean, when did they turn it back on? Like, is it just technical difficulties? Then just suddenly it comes back on and the president's just there. It's going. Also, no one reacted to just something appearing in front of him in his hands. There's just that whole scene bad. I say every other time. I don't remember the first time he used it, but
Sure.
first time he used it in this movie, totally fine.
Sure.
Everything makes sense. That time, dumb. Doesn't make sense.
They fixed it.
No, they didn't fix it.
I mean, even when he does it in the museum, for instance, like Bobby froze half of that guy's face, and then when they stop time, like it is no longer frozen. Like they had to have fixed that right before they left.
Sure.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with anything?
Like, if you can accept that they did that, I feel like you can accept that they also did some stuff in the background to make the end scene with the president work.
Like what?
Like, they could have just, kept the, transmission going. Like, there's no reason why the president couldn't have just been, staring out, being confused while the thing's going.
While they were talking?
Yeah.
I mean, they never even heard them.
No, not that part. It's, right afterwards, when they leave. And everyone's acting like it's rolling. Like, it could just be rolling.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you're solving by saying.
Like, I don't really see the problem here. I don't really get why it doesn't make sense.
All the other stuff, the notebook appearing in front of him, the fact that they don't react to the technical difficulties in any way, the people at home, I don't give a shit about that. Whatever.
Sure. I mean, they could have just wiped their minds a little bit.
With what?
Just remove the part where the blackout happens.
But I mean, how? In what way?
Charles.
I guess he could do that.
Yeah.
I would have no reason to believe that he could do that.
He can turn Wolverine into a 6-year-old girl if he wanted to.
I mean, he can make him believe he's a 6-year-old girl.
Sure. So he can make everyone.
Yeah, I guess he can just mind. I guess that's not
do
that.
that.
I don't know why I'm thinking of manipulating somebody's mind and mind wiping is something different, but yeah, I guess I don't know why they would have. It just feels why? What is the purpose? It's so stupid. Anyway.
If Storm is willing to also create a localized cloud just above the White House to make it super dark, I'm fine with it. I don't care.
I don't see how that's connected.
That's also a big thing that someone might have noticed. It's not a plot hole.
Yeah.
She just did it.
I mean, she did it afterwards.
I mean, yeah, but
What do you mean, outside?
Yeah, outside.
Oh, who cares if they notice? They're just gonna say, there's a storm cloud above the White House. Who cares? That's normal. That's not weird.
Sure. Like, in the same way, I don't find the mind thing weird.
I do. I don't see what the point of it was. It makes it. It makes it like. How do I put this? It is going to fuck up their plan more. Like, why would they go out of their way to make it to give them more clues? Right? Like, they're why. I don't understand why they would go out of their way to make things more confusing for everybody.
I think they just wanted to fuck with the president.
Fair. I mean, I don't see how that fucks with the president.
Because now he can't tell anyone, like, hey, don't you find it weird that, you don't have any memory of that thing happening? Or, like, when the power went out, because, they don't know. They don't remember it. It's fine.
What do you... I don't know what you mean by, don't you think it would be...
Yeah.
From the president's perspective, or, why would he ask them about the power going out? Why would that be weird?
Like, if he wants to talk to them about what just happens, the only evidence he can point to that anything happened is, the notes.
Right.
But apart from that, no one else can share in this experience.
Okay.
I feel like that would mess you up a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with all the other stuff, though? What does that have to do with Mind Wipe?
So that way, no one else can get freaked out over it.
But okay, if I am the person recording,
sure,
right? I am recording, I'm saying, okay, Mr. President, go. And then he starts reading this thing. And then from my perspective, he starts reading this thing, then he suddenly has a notebook in his hands out of nowhere, and he is just, instead of talking now, looking like this or whatever, looking, out in the direction or whatever. And then, if I review the footage, I'm going to be able to tell there is a very clear cut. Same thing with, the audio is going to be a clear cut. There's going to be, there's going to be the technical difficulties are still going to be there.
Sure.
They're still going. I'm not sure if there would be the cut or if there would just be you would see the technical difficulties on the camera or whatever, and be like, why don't I remember that? You know, why they're just creating way more plot or like reason for these people to look into this event and realize this was mutants rather than if they just left them alone and didn't wipe their minds, then they would just come back in, and be like, okay, fix the technical difficulties. Okay, we're back again. Now go again. And nobody would really notice that he would even have the notebook in his hands just suddenly appearing because they'd be focusing on the technical difficulties.
All right, you've convinced me.
Okay. It took a long time. Yeah. I really did not care about this much, but now I do, apparently. All right. Cyclops continues to be the worst. Cyclops, I hate. I hate Cyclops. I don't want to talk about Cyclops.
Okay, fine.
So, Wolverine, by the way, so edgy. We know he feels the pain. And he's like, gotta put out the cigar. Where do I possibly put it out? I have hundreds of pockets on me that are all leather. And it like burns through the skin and the muscle and everything. It's like, that was a hot cigar.
Oh, yeah.
And also, we didn't really talk about it that much, but like, this movie was also really felt like they were like, first movie was, you guys want to see Cerebro, we're gonna do Cerebro. This movie was, everybody loves Cerebro. Here is all the Cerebro. And now, done. No more Cerebro. They didn't get Cerebro, right? It is like in the rubble and everything.
Yeah.
They didn't grab it. Yeah. So it is like done. No more Cerebro. Which, I appreciate. I don't like Cerebro. It's something that is only here for the comic fans. It is only here for the comic fans. I do not like Cerebro. I'm glad we're done with it.
So useful though.
It's an interesting like plot point for these two movies, and it's unique. But it's not interesting.
Okay.
As a thing that they would have as a thing in the show, not interesting.
Okay.
As a plot point that's revolved around these two ways they've used it, interesting.
Okay.
They've got out all the interest in it. The interest has been drained, crushed under Alkali Lake.
All right.
But yeah, so I'm glad they had enough foresight to be like, yeah, this is gonna. We already have the most broken man in existence. We cannot also have the most broken machine in existence. We cannot have both. What else do you want to talk about? Where else do we go from here? We've actually covered most stuff. I feel like we're definitely missing a lot, but we also got the Scream Girl. She was introduced in this movie.
Yeah. The whole invasion of the Academy, I think, is really strong.
Yeah, it helps introduce a lot of stuff for the future movies.
Yeah, and I mean, just the visual of armed men going in and then shooting a bunch of kids in their beds is an immediate that's pretty striking.
Yeah, it is. Again, I've not been that scared since Promised Neverland.
Yeah.
The children of there are these grown men with guns running in here and trying to kill these children. And it's not even like they're just tranquilizing them. It's like, well, they're tranquilizing them so they can kill them.
Yeah.
It's really not much of a difference.
And they did go in with both tranquilizer bullet guns and also actual straight up bullets.
Yeah, they were just shooting actual guns and everything.
They are shooting up a school.
Yeah, and tranquilizer bullets are still tranquilizer bullets.
Yeah.
They're still bullets. They're still a thing that is hurting children. I feel like, I don't know why, I shouldn't need to clarify that, but I feel like I do.
And I appreciate the foresight of, this isn't connected visually to Magneto at all, but we have, the Academy, and then there is a secret route out that was built after everything else.
Yeah.
Which I think is a very clear, I know that Magneto, we built a lot of this together, he knows the plans, I'm going to build something that he doesn't know about in case he comes in and tries to kill all the kids.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but that is very smart.
There's that, and the fact that, all the kids know, this pathway out. It's a very, Xavier has foresight. He knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, I'm glad they've had drills for this sort of shit.
Yeah.
Very glad.
There's a good mix of stuff that feels there's a lot of good foresight here, and then there's other stuff in the first movie, you even brought up how crazy it is that the jet just comes out of the basketball court.
Yeah.
And in the first scene of this movie, they're like, hey, you know what's really weird? There's a school, and there's a fighter jet that comes out of the basketball court.
Yeah.
It's kind of sus.
It's so yeah, of course they would know about it.
Yeah?
Of course they would. It really feels like that was the first time they used the jet.
We do get to see Rogue, getting a stronger handle on her powers now.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow. Does she have a stronger handle on her powers?
yeah, she manages to kiss Bobby without killing him, or like without it immediately happening. Like there's
right, yeah, we did. What am I talking? I was saying like, does the kiss thing happen, or is it just her hands? Well, no. I was going to say we saw it in the first movie, but to be fair, she had her hand on the boy in the first movie, right?
I think so.
They were kissing, and then she touched him, and that's when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't think we've seen her lips do anything before.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still stand by what I said. Yeah,
Sure.
like, are her powers getting like? Is she getting a better handle on her powers, or is it just that her lips don't, activate in the same way that her hands do? Because like I thought that's what it was.
Like I took that as she has I took it specifically because of the first time Bobby's trying to kiss her at school, where she's repeatedly trying to reassure her like, "Don't worry, you won't hurt me this time."
Yeah.
And she keeps on not trying to kiss him. But it's not it didn't feel creepy to me. It felt like okay, they've tried this before, and he believes that they can kiss for a second or two and it'll be fine. But she's too afraid. And then
I did not take it as they've tried anything before, especially with what Bobby was saying to Wolverine and everything.
Okay.
I took it as they had not done anything before.
See, I took that as it's hard to be intimate because when we touch, there's a possibility that she's gonna kill me.
No, I did not take it as that at all.
Okay.
I definitely took it as we have not done anything. I mean, that's what he said, so that's how I'm taking it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking him at his word.
Okay.
But, yeah, so that was my interpretation. We've also seen Rogue do plenty of stuff like where her face touches somebody else's face or, stuff like that. So, yeah, I think it is just that her hands drain the power and, the rest of her body does as well, but it just requires a lot longer contact than her hands do.
Okay.
Is my guess. And yeah, the same scene with Bobby. I don't know what the hell's going on with Bobby in this movie. I feel like he was same with Rogue. Rogue and Bobby, I don't think I understand them in any way.
Okay.
Not in a I think there's a plot hole with them where I feel like they're inconsistent. I don't understand them. I do not get them. Don't get their characters. Not sure who they're supposed to be. I don't get it.
Okay.
But so yeah, I just can't really talk about them because I don't know what they're doing. Do you have anything to say about Bobby and Rogue?
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious they're teenagers and they want to, explore with one another, and they can't because because when Rogue touches people, they die. And so it is him it's her trying to, get a better grip on her powers, but she's still really scared. And Bobby's, not trying to force her to touch him, but, he's trying to give her confidence, and they kiss at his house. The house scene, I think, really sells it to me as, they've progressed to the point where they're willing to try, and she, kisses him a little too long. She lets go a little too much, and that's what, that's why she starts killing him.
Sure. So, you do think that she likes him?
Yeah.
Okay. I legitimately cannot tell. I can't tell. What I mean by I don't know what's going on with them is during any scene in which they're talking, I don't know what their intentions are.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know what they're. Yeah, I cannot read Rogue.
Okay.
Bobby more so. Bobby, I will say, I think it's just inconsistent in how he's written.
Okay.
But yeah, Rogue is the one I don't know. I don't understand her as a character.
Yeah, I took it as just they're dating, but they're not serious.
Sure. I mean, just over. I'm not just talking about Rogue and Bobby, together. I just, across both movies.
Okay.
All the movies. I don't really know what Rogue is doing. What was the point of the Mystique rape scene? What was the point of that? It really just felt like they went, what's funny? Rape.
I took that as Mystique trying to mess with Wolverine. It is the what do you want? Can I sway you? What do you want? Do you want this girl? Do you want this girl? Do you want this fat old man?
For what purpose does she want to sleep with Wolverine? It doesn't seem like she's got the hots for him. It doesn't seem like she.
Oh, I didn't take it as sexual. I definitely took it as she wants to see if she can sway Wolverine to their side.
Okay, maybe that's what that was. I get that's the only that's the only thing I can think is that it was supposed to be a I'm going to manipulate you over to our side, which doesn't seem like a thing that Magneto does. It just doesn't seem like a thing that she does. It just felt out of character.
I thought it was like equivalent to the scene where she seduces the guard. It's just like with that one, there's a very clear like I'm doing it for this reason. Whereas for this one, I felt like it was more of a I'm going to try and tempt you over to our side.
I don't know. I do not see them as the same at all. Like, night and day difference.
Okay.
Completely. I mean, one is manipulating a bigot into injecting iron into his ass. The other one is raping Wolverine in order to manipulate him onto your side.
Right.
Which is, why would you want him on your side if that's how you got him on your side? I don't know. The first movie I was like, yeah, Mystique is my favorite character, everything like that. But like now, boy, howdy, yikes! And it's like I want to like Magneto and Mystique and everything, but it's like now I'm like I don't know. Is Magneto fine with her being a rapist?
Like I like them both, but they're both definitely assholes. Like they're both definitely. I mean, Magneto does do the casual. I'm gonna just try and kill all humans before I skedaddle.
Yeah. I mean, like
they're both pieces of shit.
Yeah, I mean, they've done that both movies now, where they have to have Magneto have the kick the dog moment at the very end.
Yeah,
but like, it didn't feel like they were trying to do a kick the dog moment for Mystique in there.
Sure,
they just kind of. That's why it's like I can excuse that sort of stuff with Magneto, the kill all human stuff. I can excuse because I know why they're doing it.
Sure,
I know that's gonna immediately go away the next movie, and he's gonna say, should have done that. I'll do this instead. You know, we literally just did it at the end to have the fucking kick the dog moment so he can be the villain again. But yeah, the Mystique scene, it does not feel like that's what that was.
Speaking of Magneto, I do really like the payoff when he goes into Cerebro of like he is the kind of person who he made a helmet specifically to keep Charles out of his head. And this is like the one moment beyond all else. Like he knows for a fact, like, oh yeah, if Charles thinks about me too hard, I'm gonna die. So it is already, completely sane for him to have the helmets.
Yeah.
But this is the ultimate, like, I'm in a room with 2 mind controllers and they can't do shit to me. Like, this is the ultimate, I was right all along.
Yeah.
Like, when he said before to Pyro, like, I wear this dorky helmet to keep the real bad guys out, it is immediately, yeah, completely 100% justified.
Very, very much so.
Like, he is the only one who could have saved the world in that moment.
Yeah, like, absolutely 100% needed. And, the only other movie, scene I feel like we haven't talked about is the end scene with Jean Grey and all that.
Where, like, over the course of the movie, her powers have been getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
But, like, it culminates in the end scene.
Yeah.
Where she's, like, like, she gets out, she repowers the jet, and she stops all the water.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've said everything I had to say about it in my reaction.
Sure.
Felt very unneeded. Like, a lot of the ending was there could have been something we could have done, and yeah, you definitely could have. Plenty of stuff you could have done.
Yeah. Like, I think the big question that they leave off in is, why did Jean do it?
Yeah.
Because they outright say she could have just been in the jet and done that.
Did they say that?
Yeah. Like, it's when they're grieving over her.
Okay.
Like, I think they specifically just say, like, why did she get out of the jet?
Right. But yeah, I thought that was just why did she sacrifice herself? So I didn't think that's what they meant by it. But I don't know. Maybe she just did it because the powers were getting overwhelming and she wanted to die.
Yeah, she sacrifices herself. In the end credits, we get the mysterious symbol in the water.
Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I didn't comment on it at all because I was like, I literally cannot tell if this is supposed to be a thing or if this is like just like. Sun reflection or something.
Right. No, it's a thing.
Okay. I don't have any guess because, like, you say it's a symbol.
Yeah, like there's something there. I don't want to say what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I can't see anything. I can't see a goddamn thing. Like, I can tell that there is something under the water, but it is the most I have extremely bad eyesight, and I can't see this at all. If it's supposed to be a shape, it looks like a blur to me.
All right, it's
Like, yeah. I could not hazard a guess. Like, to me, it looks like an H.
they're showing you like no
Oh, yeah.
good frame.
Yeah, like
of it.
the last frame, as it becomes more and more clear, it becomes way less clear to me. Like the last frame, it looks like a dot. Like it looks like there's like a little tiny dot in the center of the screen. That's all I can see. Like this
Okay.
right here. But like,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know what that's supposed to be. It starts out as like an H and then it gets like condensed down or something. I don't fucking know. I assume she's getting more powers or something.
Okay.
You know, she ain't dead, for sure.
Mhm.
But, yeah, I don't know what this would be. I don't know. I cannot tell what the fuck this is. It's so blurry. No, I said H. I guess it actually just looks like a straight line. All I'm seeing is looks like a straight line.
Okay.
I don't know what I was seeing as the H parts. Just watching it again, I can't. It's just line, horizontal line. I don't even see the ball anymore at the end. But no guesses as to that.
All right.
Absolutely no guesses. She's got wings now. That's my guess. All right, I'll see you guys for the next one. What's the next one called?
The next X-Men movie, right?
Yes.
Okay, it is X-Men: The Last Stand.
What were you looking for?
I mean, you're not gonna watch it next, though.
no. Oh, well, you're looking for the actual.
Yeah.
No. Next is Captain America 1990. Then is
X-Men: The Last Stand.
X-Men: The Last Stand. Okay. So, see you guys for those. Until then, get the fuck out of here.
Mhm.